Emily is live?
Emily's live?
Welcome to Emily is Live with me, Emily Dolan Davies. Come and hang out whilst I share my experiences in the music industry. You can ask me questions live and we can get you one step closer to your professional dreams.
Emily's live!
Hi, hello. Welcome to Emily is Live. We are back again, and there are so many people in the room already. So I just want to start out by giving a shout out to all the people that were in way before we went live. So Jed Kenyon, who is here at the moment, he is home off work today. I hope that's for a good reason and not a bad reason, Jed, but hello. Matthew North Music is here as well, but I think he can't stay for much long because stay for very long because he is at work. So Matthew, I hope you're sort of like secretly watching, but we're glad to have you for as long as we can have you. Charlotte Bibby is here, hilariously just messaged saying that after last week's episode where I was saying so much about how I don't enjoy rehearsals, and it turns out a lot of people feel this way, she said that her rehearsal room, which is up in Scotland, if anyone needs a rehearsal room, go to Charlotte, apparently it's completely booked up. So Echo Lab Studios, completely booked up for this weekend, which is brilliant, love that. Nathan Drums is here, hello Nathan, who is wolfing down his bacon bagel. And can I just say, let me just check this, yes, you have a bacon bagel, this is my reward, this is how I work. My reward for myself after I do this live stream is a salt beef and mustard mayo sandwich with gherkins in a rosemary focaccia. Oh my gosh, I saw it in the shop and I don't usually get sandwiches, I just don't, but I was like, you know what, can't pass that up. So that is my reward for after I do this live stream. So I'll be joining you there with your bacon bagel eating. Maisel Drums is here. Hello Maisel from Brazil, how you doing? Mooncat Drums, Carl Bayliss is here as well. Walrus Tass from Tasmania is also in the room. David Lamids is here. Who else have we got? I'm sure I saw a couple of other names. Oh, Edmund Massey is here, who may not be able to stay because he has a surreal meeting with Rick Marino. Now, is Rick Marino an American football player, or am I thinking of someone different who was in Ace Ventura? Is this my brain just short-circuiting? I don't know, but you can tell me. I know he's incredibly famous and I should know who he is. Don't really know if he's not the Miami Dolphins guy. Who else is in the room? So Zouster is here. Hello, Michael Lopez. Matthew Chambers is here, although he can't stick around either because he's got a depth job with a Pink tribute band, which sounds amazing. I would love to play in a Pink tribute band. I think that would be so much fun. Who else have we got? And my screen is jumping around. Adrian in the bass. Hello. Good morning from Ontario. Amazing. Oh, and Ali's in as well from County Mayo. Hello, all of you wonderful people. Welcome to Emily is Live. I can relax now that I've said a quick hello. I know that there's people still piling in, so that's fine. We'll get to that a bit later. But this week, let's talk about the thing that is definitely the thing that I have been asked the most recently since starting back up with this series, and that is about remote recording clients and how to get more remote recording clients. This is for anyone that's running a business, doing remote recording, and they want more clients. Funny that, isn't it? Now this can also be related to, say you're a teacher and you want more students. This can totally be related to that. If you're running a rehearsal studio like Charlotte is, it could be absolutely related to that. So this does cover a lot of areas, what I'm going to talk about, rather than just the narrow sort of thing of remote recording, but I will mainly reference that only because it's my most experience that I have is in that field. So let's get into it. Now, I get asked this question a lot, and usually the answers that I give are very much like, do this, do X, Y, Z, go to these websites, search for these type of people and get in touch and blah, 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 and sort of X, Y, Z. And people do this and it works and all that sort of stuff. Some people don't do it. Some people just want another answer because they don't like the answer. At least that's my experience, because at the end of the day, these things take time. They take a lot of consistent effort, and it's hard. It's not easy. I haven't found some like quick shortcut way of finding, especially remote recording clients. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to whack my hand, that's good. So yeah, I have never found a really, really quick way of doing this, but what I thought I'd talk about today, rather than doing the same old thing of like, you know, you could try this website, you could do this, do that, leave comments here, you know, blah, 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 go into this group and blah, blah. I'm not going to do that this week. What I'm going to do instead is kind of flip the perception of maybe how you could think about getting clients, because it's not just an exercise in kind of box ticking and, you know, do these amounts of things every day for a month and you'll start getting new clients. It's I think that's kind of the surface level action that needs to be taken. But here's what I'm going to offer to you for this week to think about. Rather than thinking about, you know, how can I sell my services? How can I get in touch with people? How can I do this? How can I? Maybe you could start thinking about your ideal client. Maybe think about them. And what I mean by that, and this concept kind of changed my whole view of how I should be looking at things. And it just makes so much sense. So, as an exercise, what I'd like you to do, if you're running a business, any type of business that involves other people, is put yourself in their shoes. And this very simple concept, I promise you, will completely change everything, because it changes the way that you approach things. Now, let's give an example, and I always love this example. Let's say that you're in a new area, right? And you decide you want to go to a restaurant. What is the first thing that you're going to do? I know what I can do, what I always do, and you might be different, and I'll get to that in a minute. What I do is I pull out my phone, I go onto Google Maps, and then I will just search what's nearby. Maybe I have a particular cuisine that I really fancy that day, or maybe I don't. Maybe I just want really good food, and I go, right, what's the highest rated restaurant? Let's go there. And that's it. That's how I make my decisions when it comes to food. Now, as far as the way I think, I don't see it why it would be any different when it comes to working with a musician. I don't think. So I started to ask myself, right, what would that look like? What would my ideal client, let's say they find me somewhere. It can be literally anywhere. Now, if I were in their shoes, I would maybe see a video of me playing, for instance, on, let's say, Instagram. Okay, first thing you're gonna do, oh, I like this person's playing, that's really fun. Oh, I have a song that maybe I need some drums on, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna click on their profile. If I look at their feed and there's no other video of them playing, or it's very like, you know, there's a picture of my, I don't know, if I had a dog, like a dog or some family members, or, you know, it's all a bit sporadic. There's a random picture of a flower and like a beach, or, you know, just not drum related, not what I do related, you know, not in my studio, not playing gigs, not any of that. I'm instantly going to be switched off. I'm just going to be like, nah, okay, that's obviously just a one-off nice video, that's all very good, but they don't take themselves seriously, this is not a serious thing for them, I'm not going to put my trust into them. And then you'll never hear from them. If, however, they go to your Instagram, they find more posts of stuff, they can find out more about you. Maybe like this, there'll be short talking videos, so literally they can see how you talk and what your vibe is, or, you know, and maybe you're talking about something you're passionate about, if that's maybe like a certain genre or a certain way of recording or something like that. That really will help people warm to you and go, and want to know more. And then maybe there's links on your bio which will lead them to, say, your business or something like that, but it lets them delve deeper. But what you need to sort of create is trust, because at the end of the day, especially on the internet, anyone can be anyone. Like, I don't know about you, I'm not going to just randomly get in touch with someone that I have no idea about and give them money to do a job that I don't even know if they can do. So I would sort of have this in your mind whenever you're posting content, whenever you're reaching out to people. You know, think about how, if you're reaching out to someone, how would you like to be reached out to? I know for me, if someone reaches out to me, even thinking about it is making me cringe. If someone reaches out to me, hi, I do this thing, let me do this thing for you. I charge this amount, and very like aggressive. I don't like that. It's not my vibe. And it's not to say that's right or wrong. Absolutely not. It's just my personal preference. And I like to conduct myself in a way that I would like to be conducted. I don't know if that even makes sense, but you understand what I mean. And if you do like being approached that way, in a very direct way, be that. Be exactly what you are. And this is what I mean. it's not about right or wrong. It's about attracting sort of the people that are in alignment with you, with the way that you work, with the music that you want to be working on. And I think if you can hold this in your mind's eye at all times and just think, right, before I send this message, how would I perceive this? Like, is this a good way of being? And basically put their needs as your number one reason for getting in touch with them. So this comes on to the next point. So that's kind of, if you can keep them in your mind, right, let's do what's right for these people, then it's like, where do these people exist? Where can I find these people? And that's when you go into kind of working out what your ideal client might look like. So, you know, what kind of music is it, first of all, that they're playing? That's a very, very basic one. You know, maybe it's location based. Where in the world are they? You know, what other interests might they have? Just sort of get a picture together in your head, and then maybe start researching where these musicians are using services like, I mean, Bandcamp's brilliant, Hype Music is amazing, obviously Spotify playlists are amazing, SoundCloud, and just search for genres. So let's say so for me, I always get in touch with a lot of sort of singer-songwriters. I just love that kind of music. I love storytelling. I love all that sort of stuff, and maybe a bit of country and a bit of blues and all that sort of stuff, because I just love stories. Maybe for you it's like gospel music, that's your thing. Maybe it's like really heavy metal. Maybe it's, I don't know, jazz, who knows? But you know, these sites are so well optimized for finding music that is suited to your ear. So if you just kind of go, right, I want to be the jazz drummer, I want to be the remote recording jazz drummer guy or girl. That's me. Like, set out my stall, that's it. Search for those people that are the independent artists. Maybe not bands, because often bands have drummers already or guitarists already or whatever you're playing. So I wouldn't get in touch with bands necessarily, but independent artists, absolutely. Find them, listen to their music. If you like it, brilliant. Move on to the next step. If you don't, just don't bother, because all this kind of interaction needs to have an element of trust and honesty about it, because as soon as it doesn't, no one's going to be interested. People can see straight through that. Like, there's literally no point of pretending. So find some music that you like, some artists that you like, and then see where they hang out. So say you find an artist on Spotify, on a random Spotify playlist, you're like, oh my god, they're amazing. You find them on Twitter or on Facebook or maybe on Instagram, and just comment and just reach out. And I think the other thing that needs to happen is, rather than kind of this approaching with this thing of like, use me, let me record for you, or let me, you know, teach you, or let me, whatever it is, let it be a little bit more chill. Just start a relationship, start a friendship, just be appreciative. And this is what I mean about being honest. Be appreciative of that person and what they're putting out there. Just be like, just heard this song, absolutely love it, keep doing what you're doing. Whatever it is, just reach out, make contact, make yourself known. That is literally it. You know, some of the clients that I record with, it was like 3 years of chatting and just getting to know each other before we actually work together. But those people are like the strongest bonds that I have, and I absolutely adore them, and they've become friends of mine, and now we get to do loads of music together, and it's just a really great environment. But that started from just a conversation with no expectation, because I think that there is a misconception for some reason that you should be reaching out and selling your services straight away. That's just not how life works at all. It's about making connections, friends, finding like-minded people. And again, you know, if you reach out with that initial comment, let's say, again, if it's on Instagram, or let's say it's on TikTok, just for the sake of sakes, that's not even a saying, but there we go. If they then click your profile, again, you want them to see a brilliant representation of yourself, what you have to offer, that maybe will get them commenting on your stuff, and maybe it will get them asking you questions, and you're showcasing stuff without any expectation. It's just, oh, this is just what I do. And then you just see where it goes from there. And like I say, I think, you know, you're not gonna part ways with your hard-earned money for some random stranger on the internet that is just going, I do this thing, pay me, pay me, pay me. No, it's just, that's not how it goes at all. just think about how you are online. Think about if you find something that interests you. Even yesterday, I had this ad come up. I think it's for something called athletic greens. I'm still contemplating whether I should, buy into this and give it a shot. But the first thing that I did, I sort of looked at the website and I saw that they had a lot of reviews and stuff, and that was quite interesting. But it was like, no, okay, but I want to independently research. Because who are you? I don't know who you are. I know that they're probably a really massive company and I'm probably really behind the curve. But the point is that it's never as simple as, hi, nice to meet you, give me your money. It's not like that. There needs to be some sort of proof, social proof. There needs to be trust, whether that's through your own social media profiles, just letting people get to know you, and whether that's you personally, you're playing, you're teaching, if you're teaching, whatever it is, they need to get to know you and just gradually let it sort of emanate and let it percolate. And then the other thing, there's another way of doing that, which I just mentioned, with having reviews is such a massive part of running a business. So if you have had previous clients or previous students or whatever it is, ask them to give you a review that you can then put on your site, because that is the quickest way to sort of build any sort of trust with a potential client. So I'd say do that as well. And yeah, I mean, the underlining thing with the whole of this sort of, although this does seem, I'm sure it seems a little bit haphazard, but it kind of is. There's no one quick route from A to B to get a client. There's all this stuff in between, because there are journeys that happen for every person that finds you. Now, it might be through, for instance, someone might hear me do an interview on a podcast and then look up my name and they end up on my website, which also, gives them all this other sort of stuff to look at and blah, blah, blah. But there's so much going on in tandem that you kind of do have to invest a bit of time in loads of different spots, loads of different spaces, whether that's your social media, whether that's getting interviews, or whether that's just putting out free content. This is the other thing. If you can offer a version of your service, whether that's recording, whether that's lessons, or whatever your thing is, if you can give people a free sort of try before you buy version, that is a massive, massive way, like the next step to getting a new client. 100%. One of the best things I ever did for EmilyDrums.com was start Drum Stem Club, and those are free drum multi-tracks. I have no expectation at all with them. I put them out there, people download them, they use them, they release them, and if they decide to then get in touch for some bespoke drums, that's great. But I certainly do not have any sort of caveat. You can only download these if you then work with me. No, I've got thousands of people in Drum Stem Club, and I'd probably say that maybe 15% get in touch about songs. Maybe 15%, but that's enough. That is totally enough for me. It's enough for me to live, and that's great. And then the bonus is people get to use all this free content to their benefit, which is awesome. It's such a great thing to be able to do. So I think if you can find a way of giving a free version, that could be a free demo. It doesn't have to be as big as what I created, because that's me. I'm always a bit excessive, but that's fine. I'm okay with it. But yeah, like a free demo version of what you do can be really good. If you are a teacher, free lessons on like a free YouTube series of drum lessons would be great, or guitar lessons, or whatever your instrument is. But I think finding something that you can kind of say, look, let me show you what I do. There is no expectation from your end. I just want to show you what I can do. So, and I think the final underlining kind of thing to say with all of this is that it does just take time. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes a lot of effort, whether it is just as simple as reaching out to people on, say, Facebook or Reddit, or just leaving comments or starting conversations. That can take months and months of either reaching out and hearing nothing back, or reaching out and starting a friendship and just, touching base every now and again. The other thing is touching base with old clients that you've already had in the past is massive, like so massive, because you've already worked together. You already have the proof. You just need to stay top of mind, as it were. So yeah, if you are doing this, don't expect results within like a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months after you start doing it. It is literally, it might be hard sometimes, and it still is for me. There's still moments that I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do this, but I know if I sow these seeds now, later on down the line, I'll be thanking myself, and I can't tell you the amount of times I've thanked myself for things like that. But anyway, I think underlining thing, be patient, but the overarching idea is sort of be in your client's shoes. Every single time you reach out to someone, or you go to post a bit of content or whatever it is, put yourself in those client's shoes and just go, right, how would I feel if someone was saying this to me, or if someone went to my profile and saw this? Is this beneficial to my business? Is this beneficial to getting more clients? If the answer is yes, go do it and go do more of it and be consistent with it. But if it's not, maybe take a different approach. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that is my 2 cents on the matter, and as I say, it's a kind of slightly different approach to what I've said in the past about, being on physical sites, air gigs, sound better, reaching out on Facebook, Reddit, still do all of that, that's fine, but I think that kind of underlying why you're doing it, that's so much greater, and the approach that you have with people on those platforms is so much greater than the reaching out, the actual action in itself. So I hope this helps in some way with you getting some new clients, and if you have any questions on this subject, anything else, put it in the chat. Okay, I will go to the chat live in the room in a second. I have had a couple of questions that came in beforehand, so I'm going to answer those. Oh, that's the other thing. If you want to hear anything else about starting a remote recording business specifically, then I've got this free workshop. If you just go to emilyislive.com/remote recording, you can check out the free workshop there. So let's go to the questions that came in beforehand. Oh, this one is from Nathan, who is in the room, as it were, today anyway. So Nathan is saying, how did you get so confident going live, and any tips for your first live stream? How did I get so confident? I just did it a lot. It's like anything that I do, I think. If it scares me, I generally do it, and then I do it a lot so it doesn't scare me anymore. Don't get me wrong, these things still do scare me slightly, and the only fear that I have with these live streams, and have always had, is that no one's going to show up. And that's why I always make sure that I have something hopefully valuable. I was going to say something valuable, but that's not for me to decide. That's for you to decide what I deem valuable to give to the live stream. So even if there was no one in the room right now, and I was like, oh, and I've run out of stuff to talk to, we've still done 22 minutes of chatting, I feel like I've given something, and that's fine. So I always have something to fall back on. I'm like, right, okay, if there's no one there, at least I've given a bit of value. Same with these luckily, because people send questions in before, I can answer questions, and that can be part of this. So I think having something that you can control is a really good way to feel anchored, I suppose. That's how I feel anchored. And then I know that if people do turn up, which they have, which is lovely, I can just go into that chaos, and it's wonderful, and it can be very organic, and we'll just see where it goes, which is great. And if you thrive on that kind of chaos, that's brilliant. Some people don't. That's totally fine too. When I was doing my live streams at emilydrums.com, the whole thing was, I'm recording, and it just so happens that there's people there. People can chat, or they cannot chat. Sometimes no one would chat. Sometimes there'd be no one there, but it didn't matter, because it was like, well, I'm just doing my thing, and if people pop in to say hi, then that's really nice. So yeah, if you can find something like to ease you in, where you can just kind of, if someone's there, you can say hi, that's a nice bonus, but you're doing something anyway, so it's not a big deal. Like taking pressure off, and however you need to do that in your own way, I think is really, really valuable. I still struggle though. If I'm going live for going live's sake, I find that a little bit stressful. It's fine after the first sort of couple of minutes, but initially I'm like, okay, let's do this. And in fact, there's now, where did I do that live stream? What was the live streaming? There was a live streaming platform that was native to Twitter. It wasn't Vine, that was the short video thing. Oh, I'm whistling. But anyway, when I did that, there was one time that I did that live on Twitter, and no one turned up, and I was just sat with a cup of tea and I had nothing to say, and I felt so awkward and just like, what am I doing? This is rubbish. Who's gonna watch this? And anyway, it was a lesson. It was very much a lesson that I need to have something prepared, because otherwise, who cares? I know some people can just sit and not have anything prepared, but I need to, and I know that about myself, and that's okay. So I hope that kind of helps Nathan, as always. Bit of a ramble, but it's okay. So we've had another question from an anonymous person who has said, have you ever suffered with performance anxiety? Well, as I've just said about the live stream thing, yes, I have. Not massively, because what happens with me, and so in terms of, let's talk about gigs, because I'm pretty sure that this was about gigs. So the only times that I remember having performance anxiety was the very first gig that I did, and I remember feeling physically sick. Now, I'm very lucky, and this is going to sound strange, I'm very lucky. I have a bit of a vomiting phobia, and so feeling sick is one of the most scary things to me, and I hate it. So when I felt that, I recognized it, and I thought, right, I never want to feel like that again. So I worked out why I felt like that. Now, a big part of the reason was that it was my first gig, and it was because it was fear of the unknown, which is a completely natural response, I think. And if you're suffering with anxiety on that level, I think that's absolutely fine. It's a new situation. But later on, I found myself feeling no anxiety at all. I wouldn't get nervous. I don't get nervous now. And the reason, I think, is because I'm so well prepared, because I'm anxious beforehand. Like, I have anxiety about things that can go wrong, and my response to that is to kind of plug up the holes. So plug up everything that I feel like could go wrong. I know how to deal with it in my head. If that happens, then I'll do that, and then if that happens, then I'll just do that. If that happens, that's not ideal, but what I'll do is X, Y, Z. But what that means is it gives me confidence, like walking on stage, that no matter what happens, I know what I'm doing. Let's go base level. I know all the songs inside and out. So that's the base level. That's an absolute. That's non-negotiable. I have to know all my parts. I need to know exactly what I'm doing. Like, there is not a single doubt about what I'm doing on stage. But then the second layer of, and if this goes wrong, then I just have to do this, and I need to know how to do that just in case that happens, and all of these other things are covered. And there are very, very, very few things that will happen on stage that I don't have a plan in my head for. And that's not to say that, I haven't got every eventuality sorted. If something fell, if a light fell from the rafters onto stage or something, I wouldn't know what to do about that, but I'm pretty sure that my instincts would kick in pretty well. But what that means is that I don't fear it. I don't have any anxiety. I'm ready, I'm prepared, and I want to enjoy it. And it allows me to enjoy every second of being on stage, which is pretty awesome. And it's the same with things like this. I am prepared to a point that if things go wrong, I'm okay about it. It wouldn't be ideal. And, things do go wrong. A couple of weeks ago, camera decided to pack up. Okay, well, that's not ideal, but anyway, we get on with it because it's not a big deal. It's not a huge problem. So I think that's how the reason that I don't really suffer with performance anxiety, at least at the moment. I may develop it in the future, who knows, and then I'll give you a completely different answer. But that's how I sort of curb the anxiety, the nervousness, all that sort of stuff. So I hope that helps in some way. And the final question I had in before I went live was, how often do you practice? And tell us your favorite rudiment. Okay, here's the tea. I don't practice that much unless I have a very specific goal in mind, and the goal very rarely comes from my own brain. It's often a goal of circumstance. So if there's a specific gig that I'm sort of practicing for, that will be the goal, and everything that's entailed within that. So yeah, I practice towards practical goals, if that makes sense, not practicing for practicing's sake. I am terrible at just sitting down and playing like just rudiments or whatever. I get so bored because, I frustrate myself with it But if I don't have a reason to do something, like a really clear reason, then I'm just like, well, this is kind of like throwing a dartball with a blindfold on, because I could practice this thing, I could get really good at it. I might never use it, so why am I doing this? And I'm very much the person that wants to be, what's the word? Like, purposeful. I want to do the best job possible in the most efficient way possible. I'm an efficient freak. I love to be efficient in many aspects of my life, which can lead to a bit of stress, to be honest, but that's okay. So yeah, I need a really clear goal. So I practice when I have a very good reason to. In terms of my favourite rudiment, I mean, you can't beat singles and doubles, because literally every other rudiment is made up of singles and doubles. So I will always say that, basically. I'm sorry that's not a better reason. And for all the teachers in the room, I apologise. Yes, I know. Oh, well, sometimes that can be your reason. In fact, that was my reason for years. Practicing stuff was basically because I had a lesson every week and I didn't want to let down my teacher, Mike Dolbear, every week. That was my bigger reason. It's very rarely for my own benefit, if that makes sense. It's usually for someone else's. I know that about myself. If you can find what works for you, like work out how your brain works and use it to your advantage, life-changing, trust me. But it does send you a bit crazy, but that's okay. Anyway, right, we're gonna go to some questions in the room. If you want to join in on this live question element and discussion, mostly about food, then just go to emilyislive.com and yeah, we can chat. So let's see what's happening in the room. So where did I get to? So Maysel Drum says, I love this intro. Maysel, I'm glad you do. So the intro was massively sort of created by you guys that are listening and watching. I got some of the guys to just send me in some audio of them going, Emily's live, and I just decided, this is about the community. This is not, I'm just here. It's not about me, really. It's about you guys. So I thought, well, that's what it should be. That's what the intro should be. And I'm so glad that I did. I love it too. It's so fun. I just love hearing all your voices. What else is going on? So Nathan says, looks like we got all the band together. Yeah, it looks like the Bonkers Squad, as I like to call you guys. I think you like to call you guys that too. Yeah, it looks like everyone's here, which is really amazing. Adam Stanley Drums is here. Hello, how are you doing? A blessed lunchtime to you, listening on my way to work. Oh, well, we're glad to have you, Adam, and you're typing somehow, which is quite impressive. Oh, my chat has just jumped down, and my goodness, there's a lot of chat going on. Jed says, oh, this is why I asked why Jed was off work, and he said it's a good reason, a week not doing a lot, lol. Good, I like to hear that, because as a person who is not very good at stopping and relaxing, it always makes me happy when I hear that other people are taking time for themselves, so kudos to you, more of that, we like that. Graham Wilmot is here. Hello Graham, how are you? Are you well? So me and Graham at the weekend were literally within half a mile of each other at our gigs, but we weren't able to meet. I will fully hold up my hands and say I will take the blame for that one, Graham. I apologise. It's just, once you get into those festival sites, they really don't like you getting out again. So Ali says, fantastic news, Charlotte. This is about Charlotte's studio being completely booked up after last week, us talking about how much we really didn't enjoy rehearsing on the whole. I know some people really do. Adrian and the bass says, am I the only bass player in? Haha, I think you might be, actually. I think. We shall see. I'm sure that people will be letting themselves be known if they are. And Nathan says, Emily, yes, that is delicious motorway food. I love the salted beef. I love salted beef. This is the sandwich that I'm giving myself after this live stream. Salt beef and mustard mayo. I've tried making salt beef many times and I fail miserably. It's the brining. It's like 7 days, which is such an investment in time in a dish, which is fine. I don't mind that. It's the bit afterwards. Every time I go to cook it, I do the slow cooking thing, and every time it's overdone, and I can just instead go to a deli and it's so perfect, and I'm so jealous every time. In fact, there's a place just down the street from where I am right now, and it's making me want to go there, even though I have this, and now I'm realizing I probably should have done that, because although this will be delicious, the place down the road is spectacular. So yeah, anyone that's got any good salt beef recipes, please let me know. Mooncat Drum says Dan Marino is the Dolphins guy. Okay, is that the guy who he's having a meeting with, or have I? Oh, do you know what? This is so. Oh, it's Rick Marino. Okay, yeah, I really don't know who Rick Marino is then. Dan Marino, I know. Rick Marino, I have no idea. And Nathan says to me, "You won't get the meal deal. You won't get that in a meal deal." Haha. Yeah. Probably wouldn't, would you? I didn't even look at the meal deal. I probably should have done. I think even getting it itself, I was like, right, we can't start adding chocolate and all sorts. I bought fruit with it just to offset it, but we'll see. I'm not sure that works. Walrus Tass says, no, that was Einhorn, or was it Finkel? Yes. So now we're talking about Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, which is, I think it's one of my favourite films, like from when I was a kid. I love that film so much. Einhorn and Finkel, Einhorn and Finkel, Finkel and Einhorn. Also, question, for anyone that knows that film, and has watched it as many times as I have, when he's in the hospital, he's pretending to have mental health issues and stuff, and he's in the tutu, and he's pretending to be an old player. When he's doing like a scrum or a huddle or whatever they call it in American football. Now, my memory says that he says, Blue 42, ha! I looked this up, and he doesn't say that. I asked my sister, she thinks that that's what he said, looked it up, not what he said. My husband also thinks that that's what he said, that's not what he said. So, does anyone else remember Ace Ventura going, Blue 42, ha! I know I am going crazy, but really, I just feel like I'm going crazy. It's that, is it the Mandela effect? Maybe it's that. Charlotte says, full house today. Hi, everyone. It really is. And Adrian says, drums are such an important thing for me. Well, do you know what? Bass players are a very important thing to us, Adrian. So we appreciate you being here very, very much. Amongst all these drummers, sorry, there are a lot of drummers here. There are also other types of people. We have singers, we have truck drivers, we have all sorts. But yes, welcome. You can be like all of our bass players. Nathan says, haha, Walrus Tass at the old zoo. Not the new zoo, the old zoo. I don't know what that is. Oh my goodness. And Ali is saying bass is important for us drummers. It certainly is. We love bass players. And Nathan is saying, yes, Adrian, in the bass rhythm section in the house. I've got to say, Adrian, you're going to be busy with all of us drummers here. And Walrus Tass says, major recording headaches the other day. Had one of my bands in my studio to record some demos, but Reaper chucked a wobbly and kept putting random skips, glitches and hiccups in. Oh, dude, we have all been there. Can I just say, we've all been there. It is a nightmare when your gear just decides they're not having it that day. I did a whole interview once that the guy on the other end was saying, I'm hearing this weird noise. And I was like, really? That's weird. And I recorded a bit of myself and I listened back and I didn't hear it. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And rather than just going, right, why don't we both restart our computers and then we can get on with the interview? I didn't do that. And I think the reason I didn't do that is because I was embarrassed, because I felt like I didn't know what I was doing and I just felt like a complete imposter, usual imposter syndrome stuff. Anyway, we did this whole interview and it was to help this dude promote his business, and I really like the guy. He is amazing. And anyway, I sent it off and lo and behold, he was like, yeah, there was a hum on it for the whole thing. It's like a 20-minute interview. And I was like, I am so sorry. This is 100% my fault. And then he was like, I think I can maybe EQ it out. And anyway, he did. Magician, proper magician, but I felt so bad. So yeah, sometimes just switching it off, switching it on again does fix it. And War's Task says, apparently something to do with bit rates or sample rate or some such. Blah, I'll figure it out. Yeah, there are certain things that I think I have holes in my knowledge for, and it's things like that. I'm very good with practically working out how to do things, but when it comes down to the scientific reason that sample rates or bit rates don't work together or blah, 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 I struggle. It's just not how my brain functions. I don't think, maybe it does, but I certainly have some holes in that area, so I completely understand. Adrian says to Ali, absolutely, I learned drums to understand the bass better. Adrian, you are a hero for doing that, because that is incredible. Just to understand your instrument, we appreciate you. Can I just say, as a drummer, can I say, Adrian and the bass, we appreciate you. Thank you. So Nathan says, I know if I did a talking video, I'd find it hard to just use my own voice. Well, can I say, so Nathan, first of all, seems to be this incredible voiceover artist without realizing that he's this incredible voiceover artist, does amazing accents, and also occasionally sends these, those, what are they called, memojis, is it? I don't know, the ones that move. He sends these memojis of animals with him doing his various accents. They're incredible, and I'm pretty convinced that if you started just like a whole TikTok just with that, I would absolutely be following you and watching it and laughing, because it's hilarious. I love it. But yeah, then if you're not comfortable doing that, then just do it in your own way. Do a whole podcast where you are a giraffe. Why not? In an accent. If you can hold that up for a whole, that would be really impressive. If you can hold that up for a whole series or even an episode, would be amazing. But as we have discussed earlier, I think it would turn into like an Aardman style thing. What was that called? Creature Comforts. It kind of was a bit like that when he was doing it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love Creature Comforts. So David is saying hi to Adam, and Adrian says, there's nothing better than a bass and drum jam. That is true. We do love a jam, we do. Nathan says, weirdly, by hanging out with some new musicians on some dep jobs recently, I got some work. Website work, but it's still work, haha. Well, this is the other thing. Things really cross over in a strange way sometimes. So that's perfect, Nathan. I'm not being funny, Nathan, but musicians need websites, but it is not a natural incline. I don't think it is for me, at least. I've been doing websites since I was about 16, probably, maybe 17. My first website was horrendous, but it was, it was done in HTML. It was literally a picture of me with and underneath just said Emily Dolan Davis, drummer, and my email address. That was it. That was my very first website, but it was me entering into that. And the only reason that I did was because I'm a control freak and I don't like having to rely on other people for doing things like that. So anyway, I think that's great. I think, cross-pollination of, if you have more than one sort of job that you do, then yeah, just it's great. It's casual as well. It's not trying to pitch yourself or anything like that. It's just you mention something and someone goes, oh, I really need that. I think that's such a great way to get work. It's very organic. It's not gross and sleazy, sort of like trying to sell yourself. I hate all that. I hate it so much. I hate it. So yeah, that's amazing. Nathan says to Adrian, absolutely, mate, you're the facilitator of the stank face, my friend. So that's the face when you're playing and something sounds so good and you're like, oh God. Well, mine is not quite, I think that's the stank face. I'm sorry if you're listening back and you can't see my face right now, but it's really sexy. That's the stank face of like, oh, this is so good. Oh, it's so groovy and in the pocket. Everyone knows that face if you're a musician, I'm pretty sure. Walrus Tass says, anywho, gotta love you and leave you folks. Have a great morning, day, evening, night, everyone. Walrus Tass, it was lovely having you. I'm sure it's quite late there, so enjoy the rest of your evening and see you another time, hopefully. Adrian says, commonly called bass face. Haha, yes, bass face. There's like drummer stunk face and there's bass face. We like a bass face. The shoulders have to go up as well. So everyone is just saying goodbye to Nathan, and Nathan is giving me one of these. What is that called? Floss? That's not flossing, that's flossing. What is that? What is that movement that, again, if you're listening back, you can't see? And, we have Phil in. Philomia, hello, how are you? I haven't seen you forever. So Phil is from when I have been in metal bands from when I was like 15. I feel like we did meet when I was 15, Phil. Again, another person who is amazing at web design and doing all that sort of stuff. Amazing photographer. We love you, Phil, and miss you very much, actually, very much. Hope Steph's well as well. So Phil says, for sake of sakes, I may have to steal that. Phil, you are welcome to steal any of my strange sayings at any time, for sure. Yeah, this is my brain. Welcome. So David Frontman says, Nathan, this is a Georgian dance technique move. Oh, this is this kind of, I can't remember what it's called. As soon as I say it, you'll be able to imagine it if you're listening back. So I apologise for the lack of description right now. Nathan says, I think the latest reported figure is 8 points of contact before someone will begin to consider buying into you. Thank you, Nathan. What a great fact to have. So, yeah, I mean, I'd say that's very conservative personally, because if I think about, right, so yeah, it is a lot, 8 points of contact, but I think for me, it needs to be not like necessarily 8 direct points of contact, if that makes sense. So not necessarily 8 times that I reach out to you and go, hey Nathan, how you doing? Do you need some drums recording, or how are you, or what are you up to? I know, also, side note, you wouldn't need drums recording because you're a drummer, but I think it can also be 8 points of, for instance, someone listening to or watching this, and you feel like you know the person a little better. You know, that is a side benefit of doing this. It's not the reason for doing it, but it definitely helps. You know, people that watch or listen to this, they feel like they get to know me a bit better, which is awesome. I really like it. It's really nice because it means it opens up conversations that I wouldn't usually have, which is great. Like the fact that I was just able to talk about Ace Ventura for a couple of minutes. It's fun, and I don't think I've ever spoken about that before. And that Blue 42 thing, if someone can enlighten me, I'd really like it. Anyway, 8 points of contact. Well, there you go. So you need to be being consistent, putting stuff out there, either one-on-one or one-to-many. But yeah, thank you very much for that little factoid there, Nathan. You are a star. Nathan says, to David Frontman, does it have a name, that dance move? Ali says, great advice, Emily. Thank you very much. Love these chats. Sadly, can't stay for all of it, but big hugs to friends of Emily, our rockin' bonkers family. We love you, Ali. It's always lovely to have you here as well. Adrian says, well, everyone, it's time for me to get back to my writing. Coffee break is over and my bass is getting lonely. Have a great day. Adrian, it's been lovely having you here. It's always nice to see. You have been in on one of these or a couple of these before, I'm sure of it, but it's lovely to have you reintroduced to the group, as it were, and go slap at a bass. And Adrian just says thank you to me. Thank you. You rock. So do you, Adrian. So, and everyone is basically saying goodbye to Adrian. And now we're talking about dance moves from the Cossacks, potentially. Which I have no idea. Oh, there we go. Adrian says the move that I'm trying to describe very rubbishly is the dab. You're right, it's dabbing. That's what it's called, which I can't do because I'm too old and I don't know what I'm doing. But yes, and apparently that there is something Georgian about that also. There's traditional Georgian dance. Apparently it's involved. I need to stop talking about it because I really don't know enough about anything. That Scottish drummer is here. Hello, how are you? Hi Emily, how's the new studio coming along? It's coming along. That's the main thing. I think we're still 3 weeks out, hopefully. The thing that we're waiting on are the windows and the sliding doors. not the accordion, the sliding doors. And yeah, I think it will be done in about 3 weeks. It's all painted now. I will put up another video or picture or something to show you guys. So yes, it's all painted. The little kitchenette is currently going in. What else is being done today? I don't even know. Do you know what? I don't know. Every day so much gets done and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so close. We're getting flooring at the beginning of next week. Then the baffles are coming in, like the treatment's coming in the end of next week, I want to say. And yeah, and then we start getting windows and doors, and then hopefully I'll start being able to put gear in and record. I literally can't wait. I am blocking off 2 weeks to just set it all up and get it sounding amazing. And let's face it, just being in that room and having fun and hitting things, and oh, I literally can't wait. I haven't been able to record or play properly since June and it's killing me. It probably doesn't sound like very much, especially considering what we've all just been through, but it's what it is. I can't wait. I'm so happy. And right, Fergus is in. Hello Fergus, how are you? Hi Emily, hope you're well. Studio looks awesome. Thank you very much. Yes, like I said, I'm very, very excited. Has my chat just... oh, sorry, my chat is jumping, but I don't know where I was. Oh, there we go. So hello to Fergus, and Mooncat Drums says, to me or anyone else, electronics, how do you determine what sounds to use when playing hybrid? Any good sample banks, etc. you'd recommend? So for me, whenever I use electronics, it's purely to use the sounds that were off an album. So they're very rarely drum sounds. They're more like percussive sounds or electronic snare sounds. Obviously I work with Kim Wilde, I have worked with Howard Jones and also the Thompson Twins, so very sample heavy, very electronic drum, 808s, 707, like all those sort of drum machines that were around at the time. Is very much recreating those sounds. So in terms of actual real drum sounds, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be able to hazard a guess if you're trying to get real drum sounds. The fun bit for me is recreating album sounds that aren't drums, especially if you're using a hybrid setup. Like, use the acoustic drums for drums and then the electronic drums for... I'm trying to think of like an example. Oh, okay, this is random. And in fact, I can't remember the band or the song name, which is great. It starts with claps. It's a Crowded House tune, I think. That song, and welcome to my awful singing. There's like claps on that, so I would for instance just put some claps on a pad and play that because it's quite a big part of the song. I would also get some singing lessons and be better at that. As soon as I started doing that, I was like, this is a mistake. Okay, well, here we are. So that's fine. And Nathan says, David says to Nathan, the outfit looks the same, but it's totally different. I don't know what outfit we're talking about. I apologise, I probably missed something there. And Zalt says, was it Twitter or Twitch? It was Twitter. This is the live stream that went terribly wrong because I don't even know if... I think this was the worst bit about it, from what I remember. It was a live Twitter stream and there were people there, but they weren't talking. So it literally was people watching me with a cup of tea, not saying anything. And I probably have, felt so awkward. And it just felt so weird and I did not like it, and I thought, well, this isn't for me. So it took me a long time to get back to the live stream thing because it really it affected, and it didn't affect me, that's too strong a word, but it certainly made me go, oh no, that's not for me, until I made myself do more of it. And I was like, actually, no, this is really fun. So I don't know. It's worth trying again when things like that happen. Laurie is here. Hello, Laurie. Yes, you made it. Well done. Does this mean you finally got the link? I'm so sorry for those that aren't getting the link for some reason in their email. If you want to get the link, well, hopefully you will, sign up at emilyslive.com. Fergus says, having recorded in studios all over the UK for over 35 years, I have a MIDI set up in the house studio, which is a TD30KV using Superior drummer samples and Steve Slate drums. What's your views? So this, I think, is quite a popular setup for sure. Stephen Slate drums, Superior drummer, so yeah, amazing. I don't have a huge amount of experience using that kind of setup, so I think it's just about finding what's right for you and what you enjoy using, because at the end of the day you need to feel inspired when you're playing your instrument, and if you can't get the sounds that you like, or you can't play the drums or your instrument in the way you want to, it's kind of a moot point. So the fact that you've found something that works for you, I think is just, that is the key. I think that's everything. Fergus says, I've sent you MIDI recordings before, I'm sure, and I've just finished some tracks for some big producers on the MIDI, and they love them. Fergus, thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people say to me, I only have MIDI drums, therefore I can't do remote recording. Fergus is a prime example of the fact that you can, and actually some producers prefer it. It's great for them because then they can chop and change sounds, and they can manipulate stuff in a different way. So if you feel like you can't do remote recording because you have MIDI drums, look to Fergus. He is amazing. Fergus, you have sent me stuff and it sounds brilliant. It sounds brilliant. Now, you don't have to always be transparent about the fact that that's what your setup is, I think. But yes, celebrate it, lean into it. Fergus is doing it. If Fergus is doing it, if I'm doing it, anyone can do it, I'm telling you. So Edmund is saying, question, what's the fastest land animal? Haha, I am enjoying this. What a cool gift for folks. Edmund, thank you. Fastest land animal? I mean, I would assume it's a cheetah, but I don't know. Side note, that is my husband's favourite animal, is a cheetah. I can't remember why. He likes that it's fast, but I think it's something else. It's the marking. Oh no, is it the head? Something about the head. I think he likes that it's so little, or I don't know. I can't remember. I should be able to remember these sorts of things, but I can't. Nathan says to me, yes, I literally said Blue 42 along with you. That's totally the Mandela effect. But why do we have it? Why? Nathan, I feel like you'll be able to explain this to me. Why do we all remember it as Blue 42? I just thought maybe it was a UK version that came out and then they changed it for some reason, because maybe Blue 42 means something different now, or I don't know. I couldn't work it out at all. But you're saying it too. And my chat keeps jumping. It's so frustrating. Right, Nathan says, we've changed timelines again. Haha, alternate universe 42. Funny you should say that. I was watching a TikTok the other day about this woman who said that she woke up one day in her 30s. She woke up and she was 11 years old again. It's really fascinating. I mean, it might not be true or whatever, but it was sort of this idea of stepping into an alternate timeline. Really fascinating. Might be true, might not be true, who knows, but interesting idea. Anyway, so now we're on the alternate non-Blue 42 universe. So maybe that's how we can tell which parallel universe we're in. It's by watching Ace Ventura and that scene. Oh, Bennett is here. Hello, Elle. How are you? Hi, Emily. It's great to see your success here with your recording business. Thank you. That's so kind. What's the most challenging part about remote recording for an artist? Most challenging part? Oh, that's a good question. Do you know what? At some point, all of it is challenging, and then you just do, as I was saying earlier, you just do more of it and it becomes less challenging. I think for me personally, the only thing that really I do still struggle with sometimes, although I just have to talk to myself and then I'm fine, is sometimes interacting over email can be slightly, like I can read into the way that things are said sometimes and think that someone is being rude, or I just read into it. Most of the time it's fine and I'm like, oh, this is great, and I take it in a very positive way because that's just how I am. But sometimes I do read into it in an unhelpful way, I suppose, and it's usually to do with if I get revisions, then I'm like, oh my god, they hate it, I'm rubbish, this is the conversation that goes on in my head. But actually then I just all I do is I talk to myself and just say, look, you're really putting too much emphasis on this. Actually, what is it's literally like a bar that they want changed, or it's literally like this, what they don't want this one hit, or I blow it out of proportion a little bit. So I think and again, that just comes from working remotely, it comes from working over email, it comes from sitting in a room by yourself for a long time, and those voices in your head sometimes getting a little bit too loud, and that's fine. And as I say, it usually just is solved by me having a word with myself. But other than that, sometimes a bit of communication occasionally, like what one person means versus what I think they mean, if they're trying to describe something, for instance. But again, very rarely, because then we'll just start working with audio, so I'll get them to sing to me what they mean, or show me a reference point or whatever. So, and again, it's just working through these things. So I'm sure once the new studio is up and running in a few weeks, I'm sure there'll be a plethora of new things that will be difficult, and I can report back to you and tell you how I've worked through them. But I'm anticipating that, so it won't be a shock to me. I'm sure there will be a lot of frustrations with getting the best sound possible and all of that, because it's a new room, and which is exciting, but at the same time absolutely terrifying, because I am not someone who thinks they know everything. I don't. I know a very small amount about a few things, and I work it out by being put in those situations. So let's see what fun frequencies my new room will hold, and what new positions and what mics I need to put in the right positions. Oh, it's going to be amazing and frustrating and overwhelming and beautiful and all the things, and I can't wait. I literally can't wait. And the Scottish drummer says it's a dab. It's a dab. That was the dance move I was trying to do. For those listening back, I'm trying to do a dab, and I'm doing a very poor job of it, which I'm sure you can imagine. Phil Amir is saying, hiya, hi, how are you, Phil? It's so lovely to see you on here, it really is. Devon is here. Hi, Emily. Hello, Devon, how are you? I feel like you are a fairly new name to me, but I apologise if I'm wrong about that. Edmund Massey says, Dan Marino, Blue 42. We have another person that is saying that it's Blue 42. You wait till I report back to my family about this. They are just going to be like, see, what is this? David Frontman says, no, Kazakhs again, lol. I don't know what we're talking about. Charlotte says, watch out, Nathan's going to turn that sliding door, waves hands into some sort of video. Of course he is. Nathan has a talent for taking parts of my live streams and putting them slightly out of context, and I can just about imagine what he's going to do with the sliding doors one, which probably I will put up on either Instagram or TikTok, so you can see me in my full Nathanized glory. Yeah, I need to. Nathan, can you send me that other one? But that you did on that live stream with the is it Guiro? Because that still makes me laugh to this day, but I need to post it up somewhere that is a little more permanent than wherever I did post it up on that day. If you still have it, you might not have it, in which case please ignore this. Nathan says to Charlotte, me making suggestive videos of other people doing innocent things? Never. Yeah, Nathan, never. No, not you. Not you. Jed says, are you going to live recordings when you're do live streams for your recordings when your studio is complete? I hope so. I have missed them recordings. I probably will, but very, very occasionally, Jed. The reason is that I realise that, as you can tell, if you're new here to these live streams, you can tell I put a lot of energy into everything that I do, but when I'm recording, that takes a lot of my energy. But when I'm live streaming as well, it's great and I love it, but it got to a point where I was doing like one live stream, it would knock me out for a couple of days. And it's not sustainable, unfortunately, for me at the moment. Maybe it will be at some point. But for the moment, I think it will be very occasional. But I do plan on doing some live streams, like some special one-off live streams whilst recording. But yeah, it's still, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully is what I'm saying. So Devin is saying, hi Emily, I love your content. Thank you so much. My question is, I have an 8-channel interface. Do most of your clients ask for more than 8 tracks? So Devin, I'm going to turn this around on you. It's all that matters. All that matters is what you have to offer. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Don't worry about if someone is offering more or less tracks. You have 8 tracks. That's what you offer to your potential clients. That is your premise. You offer them that, you tell them what they are, you show them samples of the work that you do, the playing, how you play. I know people that offer one track, like literally like a room mic, or maybe 2 or 3 tracks. I happen to offer 16 tracks. That doesn't make me any better or any worse than anyone else. It's just what I offer, and that's down to, you know, my choice. But if you have 8 tracks, if you can get those 8 tracks sounding amazing, so for anyone that's listening or watching that doesn't know what I mean, so 8 separate channels of drums, so each drum is individually mic'd, so 8 different channels. I offer 16 different channels, but one isn't better than the other. Absolutely, that is not the thing that makes something better or worse. It's the amalgamation of everything, including things outside of the playing, including how you interact with your clients. Like, if you treat them like they are the most important person in the world to you, which that's how I treat my clients. They are, you know, if I'm working with you, you are everything. In that moment, you are my whole world. Like I say, everything that I do, I put everything into, and that's the same when I'm working with a client. You know, alternatively, I've heard about people that aren't like that with their clients. They're very much like, yeah, I'll get around to working with you when I have time, maybe just give me the money and I'll let you know when I maybe will do it. This really nonchalant, really dismissive attitude to people, I can't stand that. And that person may be fine being like that. I'm not fine being like that. I don't like treating people like that. I don't think it's right for me, so therefore I don't. And that comes back to that sort of, how do you want to be treated? So I think, yeah, just lean into the fact that you have 8 tracks to give. That's awesome. The other thing is, you know, you're discounting that maybe you can also be adding percussion onto that as a separate overdub. So maybe you will be offering 10 tracks. A couple of tracks of shaker, maybe even a couple of tracks of tambourine too. We love a good tambourine, or cowbell, as often ends up coming out on my live streams when I'm recording. I blame you guys for that, by the way. I think once I've thought that cowbell was a good idea, but I'm pretty sure I've put on more than one track. Anyway, it can always be deleted. That's what I always say. At least it can be deleted, so it's fine. Fergus says, "You're the voice." I'm a voice. I don't know if I'm the voice, but I'm a voice for sure. Graham says, "Charlotte Bibby needs an accordion soundtrack." Yeah, well, I can almost guarantee that Nathan is on it right now, editing a lovely video of me miming an accordion / glass doors / hello, we're talking about Ace Ventura, the bit. Nathan, are we on a wavelength? You were probably already there, where he's saying, there's no way that Roger Pedactor was murdered on this balcony, and he's behind the glass door. That is what I bet is happening in Nathan's brain, but I'm not sure I did it well enough. Anyway, Zalsta says, "Don't believe her. She sings great." Zalsta, you're so sweet. I really don't. I'm a terrible singer. It's okay though. I'm okay with it. I've never worked on it. I shouldn't be good. It would be just go against everything that I believe if I was any decent amount at singing, because I believe that you have to work at things. Laurie says, "Yep, definitely. Oh, you're the voice. Oh, that's the name of the song. You're the voice. Yes, you're the voice. I don't understand it. Yeah." Thank you guys, Laurie, and who else said it? Oh, Fergus. Thank you, Fergus. Thank you, Laurie. John Farnham. Oh, I thought, see, I got it all wrong. But yeah, that is the song that has the claps on it that you could use the electronics for. I think that's a good one. Nathan says, "Nice bass line in that song too." Yeah, I really, 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 really enjoy that song. Every time I hear it, I go, God, I really like this. I love it when you hear songs like that and you're like, I'd forgotten how much I enjoy this song. Someone's daughter. Yeah, exactly. Great song. Terrible singing. I'm so sorry. Phil says, "Got to run. Been fantastic to see you again. We'll catch up properly soon." Yes, Phil. Hopefully at Banners or something like that. Yes. Sorry, I was going to say something. I was like, don't say it. Okay. See you soon, Phil. Lovely to see you. Love to Steph. Nathan is just laughing at me being silly, basically. Laurie says, "Someone's son." So good. My singing is not. Jed says, "I have a Roland TD30. Soon as you are done here, I'm going on mine. So many sounds and neighbour friendly." Dude, I'm with you 100%. Jed, I started out on an electronic kit and it was for exactly that reason. Neighbor friendly, headphones on, volume control. Everyone's a winner, baby. It was a Yamaha though. It was a DTX Pro, I think. I can't remember. Oh, that's terrible. I can't remember that. Anyway, loved that kit. It was that was my first kit. I think I got it when I was 14 maybe? I can't remember. But anyway, it was awesome and yes, we love it. Fergus says, thanks so much, Emily. Similar feeling there to me getting my first kit. Dude, it's just everything, isn't it? Drums are just so good. David Frontman says, so, about getting more clients. While I'm a STEM Club rabid fan, one of my goals is to get 1 million, 10 or 12 for real, quotes. I have so many drums in my head and I don't know who's on the drums. Wait, I'm confused. Okay, so, about getting more clients. While I'm a STEM Club rabid fan, so David is a fan and a member of the Drum STEM Club. I keep calling it the Drum STEM Club when that's not its name. He's in Drum STEM Club. One of my goals is to get 1 million, in brackets, 10 or 12 for real. Oh right, quote. Oh, you mean for your songs? I have so many drums in my head. And I know who's on the drums. It will be me. I've got you now. Sorry, this is absolutely my fault. My brain is slowing down. It needs that sandwich, you see. Well, why don't we have a goal of just one quote first? Slowly does it, David. Slowly does it. I know that you are a machine when it comes to creating music, which is amazing, and I love that. But yeah, for now, just keep enjoying Drum STEM Club. There will be new drum stems up once this new studio is up and running. There'll probably be quite an influx of new stems, to be honest, because I'll be messing around with sounds and it's a perfect excuse for me to be putting stuff out there. So just enjoy Drum STEM Club. Do you know what? If you end up getting a quote from me, that would be great. But that's not why we're friends. I just think you're awesome, so let's just keep hanging out, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, that's fine. I'm just glad to know you. The Scottish drummer says, hey, it's Fergus. Oh, wait, hold on. Have we got 2 Ferguses now then? I'm confused. Hey, it's Fergus. The Roland kits are sick. MIDI is a lot of fun. I see your videos and they sound killer, but online drum studio has to say, down with MIDI. Hey man, each to their own. That's all I can say. I know people that are not a fan of MIDI, and that is fine. That is absolutely fine. I'm a fan of embracing stuff. I'm a fan of what you can create using things like MIDI, and even down to nothing to do with sounds. Things like triggering other things. Part of this show that I did once, I used MIDI to trigger lights, and it was just awesome. It was so good. It's such a interesting way to think. So I think it's, down with MIDI, that's fine, but in my head that means you're restricting yourself, and I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would have any sort of restrictive sort of beliefs or thoughts that you couldn't. It just means you're not willing to explore somewhere. I don't understand that. It's not how my brain works. I want to always explore all the time. I'm greedy, that's what it is. Edmund says, enjoyed this. Good night, Miss Steedy. Edmund, it's been lovely having you here. Thank you so much. Where are you then? You must be in Australia, no? Laurie says, the Ace Ventura clip for you. Oh, I'm assuming that you have put a link in the thing, but YouTube doesn't like links being put in, so I apologise, I won't be able to see that right now. Fergus says, ha, Bob, hope you're well, man. I don't know who Bob is. Okay, so Zalsta says, Ace said 351, but it has no meaning for actual football, lol. Yeah, that's what it is actually, isn't it? When we watched it back, it was that. But that's not how any of us remember it. It's so weird. How does that Mandela effect thing happen? Magic. Earl Drums, Earl Bennett says, great attitude, Emily. I'm sure your new recording space will be fabulous. I agree, communication and keeping that mind confident is very important. Thanks for the answer. No worries, Earl, no worries at all. And yeah, I think, do you know what? Keeping your mind sort of healthy and confident is amazing. It's real. I find it really, 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 really difficult. I am trying to get better. I'm always trying to get better. But yeah, it's the hardest part about everything for me is me. I'm usually the one that's getting in my own way, but I recognise that, which is great because it has great power in that. I'm like, well, if it is me, I can just work around it. I can work around me. I can work with me. I can, it's annoying and brilliant at the same time. Maysel says, sorry, I was preparing parts for the student. I've lost the chat. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you've had to be away for a little bit. So we have a singer, Emily Singer. Never, ever, you never want to hear me, in fairness, and this is what Tony always says to me, yeah, but you are on that Darkness album. So I am on some backing vocals screaming on Last of Our Kind. I can't remember exactly which songs. Definitely Mudslide, $1 Million Strong maybe as well. And I think maybe another couple, but I can't remember. Fergus says, you are Emily, but I meant John Farnham. Oh, you're the voice. Yeah, sorry. I'm a little behind in the chat here. Fergus says, I learned it in the 80s. Oh, it's a great song. And Nathan says, everyone's a winner, baby. Hot chocolate. That's another one. I always want to say, everyone's a winner, baby. That's a fact, but I think that's the truth. Again, my brain. David Frontman says, yes, STEM Club first. Yes, David, I love that you use Drum STEM Club in such a brilliant way. It's amazing. Charlotte says, I've been sorting out hard drives whilst watching this. I need to back up all the last 5 years of emilydrums.com onto a couple of hard drives, and I have been avoiding it. So, Charlotte, you are my sign that that's what I should be doing this evening, just letting it transfer across, so thank you. I've been trying to avoid it, but I'm not succeeding. Charlotte says, do you sort via year or subject? Oh, I sort... Charlotte, are we on a wavelength? Okay, so for years, I've just been doing... I sort by artist, so each artist that I work with has a folder, and then in there are each of the individual songs. But as you're saying, by year, because I ended up, it's all on my Dropbox, but I've ended up hitting way past, I just keep hitting the limit of all the files that I have on there. So I now am going to switch over to doing it yearly so that I can always have like the year's sessions accessible on Dropbox, and then all the rest are going to be on a couple of backed up discs, basically. That's not a boring question. Charlotte, it's things like that I love. I love hearing about how people arrange all their, because files I feel like are like arranging your brain just to make everything simple and logical, and I like it. There's a lot of peace that comes with that. Zalster says, count me in. Oh, so count me in. Oh goodness. Drum circle in observatory, had mixed feelings, lol. Love the circle, but sacrilege in the observatory being an old SETI. Oh, the Observe being an old SETI member, but I got over it, lol. I have no idea what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, the drum circle, but I didn't know about yeah. I have no idea. I barely remember that scene, if I'm honest. I do remember it, but I don't remember... Well, anyway, you got over it, so that's fine. Who else said that? Oh, that's it, not Matthew Chambers, sorry. Matthew North, who was in earlier, said that he bought or he signed up to Netflix just to watch the documentary. So thank you for doing that. If anyone hasn't seen it, count me in. Documentary, Netflix. I'm a part of it. It's interviewing loads of different drummers and like legendary drummers. It's a really beautiful documentary. I would still be saying that if I wasn't a part of it. Beautifully shot, stories told, lovely. Oh, it was amazing. But yeah, sorry Zalster, I'm confused. I know it's my normal state, so it's fine. But yes, I apologise. I can't quite remember that. But it's been a year and a half since I've seen it. So Fergus says, hi Emily, Bob is that Scottish drummer and I'm Fergus. Oh, I'm getting confused. The Scottish drummer is Bob. and this is Fergus. They are two separate people, but my brain has merged them into one because I'm not able to read things like a normal person. And Fergus says, I was confused, but Bob's a mate from near where I'm based. Awesome player. Oh, amazing. Yes. So the Scottish drummer and I have been in touch, but yes, I'd forgotten that it's Bob. So this is the thing with all these like usernames. I forget who is who if the name isn't just there. There's a few that I remember if they're here a lot, but it's I apologise, yes, if I don't remember your first real name. So Nathan says, in Ace Ventura, it seems there's a clip of a guy talking to Snowflake the dolphin who says the Blue 42 line, but it appears everyone has it confused with Ace's similar line in the tutu. That's exactly what it is, isn't it? Snowflake go! Blue 42! Blue 42! Hot! That's what it is! Nathan, yes, you rock! I'm going to send that to Hannah, to my sister, and to Tony, and I feel like the world makes sense again. Okay, Nathan says, I don't believe it for a minute though. It's a cover-up! It's the Matrix. Sort by whichever you will look for later. Haha. Oh yeah. We'll make a spreadsheet of it too. Charlotte will be, hey man, I love a spreadsheet. Love a spreadsheet. Nathan says SETI as in search for extraterrestrial intelligence. This is the observatory. Okay. So, do you know what I thought SETI was? I thought it was like a type of drummer or something. First, in my head, it was like something to do with Indian culture. I don't know why. As in India, in Asia. Let's read this again from the Zouster quickly. Let's see if I can decipher what I'm actually meant to know. So, saw Cammy and drum circle in the observatory, had mixed feelings, loved the circle, but sacrilege in the observatory being an old search for extraterrestrial intelligence member. Oh, because he was a SETI member. I've gotcha. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, that makes me sad. But surely, you said you got over it, so it's totally fine. Zouster, were you here last week when we were talking about a lot of us have quite the... obsession is the wrong word. We have had quite the interest in like astronauts and space and the moon. Were you here last week when we were talking about that? Because if you weren't, you're another case of it. It's amazing. I love it. Jed says, the weather is poor here in Manchester, but you and all on here have cheered me up. Thank you all. And Zalster says, Nathan, yes, right, so it is the search for extraterrestrial life. And Edmund, who I thought was in, oh my goodness, so I thought he was in Australia, but he's in Coronado, California, which means that it is really late at night for you, Edmund, but anyway, you are the last comment of the day, so with that, I'm definitely going to love you and leave you. Sleep well, Edmund, and everyone else, thank you so much for being here as well, and it's been lovely seeing you all. If you want to be part of this live conversation, then just head over to emilyislive.com if you're watching back or listening back. It's been a joy today. I can't believe that this mismemory of Blue 42 has finally been put to rest by Nathan Drums. So thank you for that as well, Nathan. But it's been lovely seeing you all as ever. And I will be back next time for another subject. Who knows what it's going to be. But yeah, have an amazing rest of your week. Lots of love to you guys. And I will see you soon. All right, see you later. Bye.
And Emily is love. Ooh, yeah. Emily is love.